All right, for decades, the left, what have they employed? Identity politics in order to divide America. And of course, we see this every election, manipulate the elections. The race card, gender card, rich versus poor, old versus young, men versus women. Now, these are all tactics, predictable tactics, that the left uses in order to claim the moral high ground. Now, of course, this despicable strategy is built on a foundation of lies. Now, for years, prominent elected Democrats, they have palled around with one of America's biggest, most prominent racist and anti-Semites, a guy by the name of Louis Farrakhan. And then there's Hillary Clinton. Now, she continues to play the race and gender card and is still whining and making excuses about why she lost the election. And in the process, she's insulting women and every American who voted for Donald Trump. We'll break that down in tonight's mini monologue. All right, so Louis Farrakhan, he purports to be a great leader and minister of the Nation of Islam, but in reality, he is a small-minded, bigoted racist who peddles hatred and, of course, conspiracy theories to anybody that will listen to him. And sadly, this includes 8 Democratic members of Congress. Now, even Barack Obama was pictured at an event with Farrakhan prior to becoming president in 2005. Now, during the 2008 election, the Congressional Black Caucus, they made sure that no American saw that picture. That picture never saw the light of day. And that's according to the man who actually took the picture. Now, tonight we're asking one obvious question. If these Democrats really cared, as they say, about combating racism, pushing equality, well, why would they have ties to that vile human being? Here are just a few of his bigoted views. Take a look.
Here the Jews don't like Farrakhan, so they call me Hitler. Well, that's a good name. Hitler was a very great man. The satanic Jews, they control everything and mostly everybody. There were many Israelis and Zionist Jews in key roles in the 9/11 attacks. Because you see, white people deserve to die. And they know, so they think it's us coming to do it. Caucasian mean weak-blooded, weak-boned, stale-faced. That pale, what the Indian call a pale man. There is no human being on earth that has murdered more living things than the Caucasian. He's a murderer and a liar. But when we die and they die, then soon we're going to sit at a table and talk about we tired. We want some of this earth. Because we'll tear this goddamn country up.
Tear the country apart. Wow. Now, in light of even the more bigoted remarks made by Farrakhan in January, House Republicans introduced a resolution condemning him, and the RNC released a memo which calls out members of Congress that have ties to Farrakhan, calling them, quote, the hateful Farrakhan 8. Where's the moral outrage of the left? Where are the Democrats calling for Ellison, Waters, and others to explain their ties to this bigot, racist, and anti-Semite? By the way, spoiler alert, you're not going to hear outrage from liberals on this topic. Why? It doesn't help them politically. That's sad. And then, of course, you have Hillary Clinton. During an appearance in India over the weekend, Hillary made no mention of Farrakhan, but instead, she served up a big cup of Democratic identity politics, all while slamming those irredeemable deplorables, people who voted for Donald Trump, with a special slam for white women. Really? Watch this.
We do not do well with white men, and we don't do well with married white women. And part of that is an identification with the Republican Party and a sort of ongoing pressure to vote the way that your husband, your boss, your son, whoever, believes you should.
How insulting are those remarks? In her mind, all white women who voted for Trump only listen to men. You don't think she should apologize for those offensive remarks? Joining us now with reaction, Fox News contributor Tomi and Catalina magazine publisher Cathy. Is Farrakhan a racist and anti-Semite?
Yeah, absolutely.
What about all these Democrats that are friends with him, take pictures with him, go to events with him?
In 2005, I mean, he's a non-player. He's a non-player in politics. So because you take a photo with someone, he's a player in D.C.?
All right, he's been a known anti-Semite.
20
and
years,
a known,
he's old news.
Can I finish?
Okay.
And a known racist.
Yeah.
And he made these remarks last weekend. And these guys won't say a negative word about him.
Sounds like President Trump, non-Latino, non-Muslim. I mean, this is a racist living in the White House, so it doesn't sound very different from Farrakhan to me.
What has he ever said that's racist?
I'm sorry?
What's racist?
Oh, Mexicans are rapists and murderers.
Okay.
That was about a year ago. That was more current than Farrakhan. Farrakhan's 2005.
He never, ever said, you know, if you have to lie to make a point on this program.
Lie? He didn't say that?
Because President Trump, and you know what? I went down to Texas. That's correct. He said
Latinos
he
are
said
rapists
some.
And murderers? Oh,
he said some. That's correct.
That's not racist.
And there's a big.
Yeah.
Well, some are. Some.
Okay.
Now, many come here because they want opportunity, but some come here and they commit crimes.
All right.
Kate Steinle, for example. Let's bring in Tomi.
Okay.
Tomi.
Well, I thought that the left stood on the moral high ground, so I think that you would be the first ones to condemn language like this. But it just goes to show that the left, the Democrats, they're not anti-bigotry, they're not anti-racism, they are just anti-Trump. And this is shown clearly once again because you can't even admit it.
I did
All you
condemn
do
it.
is talk about Trump.
I didn't support him. I condemned it, but I said Trump is exactly like the person you're portraying here. Yeah, if Farrakhan is awful, so is Trump. I'm sorry?
You're comparing the two.
Yes,
This just shows how delusional you are, Kathy, because you're comparing the two.
But Tomi, the problem is Cathy made up something that Trump said. Now, many people come here from countries because they want hope and opportunity.
Right.
But when I sat through that briefing that I showed earlier, Tomi, 642,000 crimes committed against Texans in a 7-year period by illegal immigrant criminals, and some of those crimes were murder.
So
they will not admit that. They will not admit the actual quote that Donald Trump said. He said some people are coming over here and they shouldn't be here. Do you agree?
Is everyone that's coming across that border, are they all good people? And murderers.
No, he never said those words.
He said some are good people.
And he was enjoying
his
taco salad.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Why do you have to make up words he didn't say to make your point?
He's so pro-Hispanic.
Why can't you just say that these Democratic congressmen should condemn Farrakhan and denounce him and stay away from him?
It's like saying now the Republicans shouldn't get near David Duke. It's the same kind of politics.
David Duke, I wouldn't go near him.
Right. Well, no one's getting near Farrakhan right now.
Excuse me, there are 8 congressmen that won't say a negative word against him.
They're
You're missing
not getting paid by this guy. They're not hanging out with this guy.
They're not getting paid.
No.
Oh, okay. You have to be paid by the racist and anti-Semite.
Hanging out with this person.
But you can hang out with them as long as you're paying.
No, they have nothing to do with this person. Old photos. Give me a break.
Joe Concha, when we come back. Thank you both.
Cathy, I'll start with you. The diversity program itself, basically, it's a lottery system that allows people in here at random. What do you think about that? I mean, should it be shut down in light of what's happened?
It shouldn't be shut down. This is a terrible thing that happened, but this program has brought in over 1 million people since it was brought into legislation in 1990. It was created in 1990. We have about 1.3 million people that have come here, and this is the first time we hear of someone abusing this. So crazy is crazy. He was an immigrant brought in on this program. It should be improved. Eliminated, no. Maybe we should know who they are. Maybe we should make some tweaks, but to eliminate it, it's not American. It's anti-American to be anti-immigrant.
Right, but Lily, doesn't it just have to happen once, like what has happened here? I mean, as Cathy said, you know, maybe look at some changes to this and put our security first.
Absolutely. This program is the loopholes of loopholes when it comes to immigration. I am a big believer of immigration. I am an immigrant myself, but this one does not give entry based on any family ties or skill-based or merit. So why are we taking 50,000 of these visas and not reallocating them instead to the many PhDs that are not able to stay because there's a cap on immigration or other types of immigrants? We're trying to find a solution for dreamers right now. It makes absolutely no sense. I'm actually glad that we're having this conversation so people understand that immigration is not only broken on the undocumented side, but also on the legal immigration side. So I rather we make some changes here, because immigration is good for workforce development, economic development, and this one is literally raffling access to the United States.
And on that point, you know, economic development, Cathy, we want people to come into this country who can contribute, who can do a job. So what's the problem with merit-based immigration?
Nothing's wrong with that, but this one, we're not saying they're not contributing. 50,000 of these people that come in with these visas.
But it's not based on merits at all. It's just a lottery system.
But they are contributing. We haven't heard anything negative from these people. They're actually coming. They're bringing their families. They are contributing to our system. There's nothing to say otherwise.
Okay, bringing their families, that's a whole nother issue, which we don't have time to get into. But the fact that he had these 23 people through this chain migration, he was their point of contact to come into here. And I know there's going to be a lot more said about that.